Okay, you could write volumes on the subject that we're about to talk about. It's called the land of Israel. Long time ago, Abraham was told by God to come to this land. He didn't know where he was going or what he was going to do, but he came. And in essence, he conquered the land living in tents with his wife Sarah. They invited people, and he lived in different places at different times. Now, historically, the heart of the land of Israel went from Hebron to Jerusalem to Shechem. Shechem is in the north of Jerusalem, and Hebron is in the south. And most of the activities took place in this area and in expanded areas. And many of the chief figures from the Bible were active in these areas. Okay. Now Israel, the land of Israel, is strategically located between the continents of Africa, Europe, and Asia. And it seems like armies kept coming through here, and the people who lived here, the Jews, always had a problem because they kept getting defeated. And the last defeat happened, finished at the year 66 of the Common Era by the Romans, and we were sent out into exile away from the land of Israel. And so the Jews scattered throughout the world, north, east, south, and even west. So we were, in essence, we weren't here, but there was always a presence. There was always some number of Jews who lived here from the time when the temples were destroyed. And we began to come back in numbers in the 1500s when the Jews in Spain were exiled from there, and then Spain went into a decline. And so not many, but there are numbers of Jews who came back in the 1500s, and it was very difficult. They moved to Tzfat, and they moved to the shore of Yaffo, and there was a spirituality that was inherent in the land, and they picked up on it, and many great works have come from that time. And it's interesting that during that time, just before the strong Aliyah of 1882 happened, Mark Twain made a trip here in 1867, and he wrote the following: "Desolate country. This Israel is a desolate country whose soil is rich enough, but is given over wholly to weeds. It's a silent, mournful expanse. A desolation is here that not even imagination can grace with the pomp of life and action. We never saw a human being on the whole route. There was hardly a tree or a shrub anywhere. Even the olive and the cactus, those fast friends of the worthless soil, had almost deserted the country." So he saw a total desolation. Now, when 1882 came around, Jews started leaving Eastern Europe, and they heard about, and then other Jews heard about it, and they came from Yemen, and they started to come in. This was the first Aliyah, and that's been going on until the present time, in certain waves. Now, the land of Israel is quite diverse. It's mostly desert, but you still have highlands and lowlands. And the highlands are the cities that we mentioned before, Hebron, Jerusalem, and Shechem. And the lowlands go down, starting at the middle of the country and going towards the plains. And they're two different worlds. But in this microcosm of Israel, you don't have to travel far to see a different climate and a different topography. So physically, it's quite diverse. Spiritually, the land is a miracle. A couple of reasons why it's a miracle. One is that we're surrounded by enemies who don't want Israel to exist. Another reason is that the gathering of the Jews came from unbelievable diversity throughout the world, and maybe even 70 nations. And in the land of Israel, they relatively worked together. There were always problems, of course, but it's amazing that the common language of Hebrew has brought them together, and that we work, and it's a tremendous country. So, in closing, I want to tell you that most of us think that we take care of the land of Israel, but in essence, the land heals us. We've seen the spiritual energy from this land and it's been uncanny in that how this land keeps the Jewish people. And what we saw from the quote of Mark Twain is that no other people could make this land fertile, could populate this land on a continuous basis, and it always failed. Not until the Jews have come back has the land of Israel returned, and so we take care of the land, but really, in actuality, the land heals us.